Bayer Leverkusen are the most exciting team to watch from a tactical standpoint, and today we will reveal exactly how XABI Alonso's men managed to dismantle Thomas Tuchel's Bayern Munich. Leverkusen set up in a 3-2-4-1 shape which has been consistently used by XABI Alonso this season. Herdadeki started between the sticks, Hincapié, Tart and Tapsoba were the back three, Andrich and Xhaka were the two double pivots, Grimaldo was the left wing back, Stanisic was the right wing back, Wirtz played through the middle, the left 10 was Adli and the right 10 was Nathan Tella. Bayer Leverkusen looked to lure Bayern Munich in with their back three and their two pivots. So during build-up play, Bayer Leverkusen used these three here and the two pivots super effectively to try and bait Bayern Munich in to press them, which leaves space in behind. So all of these Bayern Munich players, they'd look to press and close down the space, which would leave all of these 1v1 with the Bayern Munich defence. Obviously there's a lot of space in the midfield for them to pick up the ball, and they can have runners in behind the defence and cause loads of problems for Bayern Munich, which they did do very effectively on Saturday afternoon. Another clever tactical move from XABI Alonso is to play with Wirtz as the 9. Traditionally, he plays with Boniface, he likes to stretch the back line, mate, runs in behind the defence, whereas Wirtz operates in a different fashion. He drops into the midfield, but not only into the midfield, he has sort of a free roam role where he can drift out to the left, drift out to the right, and drag the centre-backs with him. And what does that create? Space in behind. He'd drag out the likes of Eric Dyer, who we know isn't the most competent defender, and then Bayern Leverkusen have runners in behind, and that will cause constant, and did cause constant problems for Bayern Munich throughout the match. However, we did see Leverkusen concede possession to Bayern Munich, which was very unusual because Bayer Leverkusen tend to dominate the ball against their opponent. However, we'll look into that later on in the video because it was a very clever tactic deployed by XABI Alonso. What XABI Alonso is managing to achieve on such a tight budget is truly remarkable. Last summer they had a net spend of £10.8 million, which shows you they're working on a tight budget. They have to sell a lot of their players to bring in new recruits, and they lost their best player Moussa Diaby last summer to Aston Villa. So to lose your best player and spend so little but still manage to achieve what they have done this season is truly remarkable.
Moving on to the setup of Bayern Munich, and Thomas Tuchel actually abandoned the back four, which he has not done this season, and set up with the back five for the first time this campaign. Neuer starting in between the sticks, a back three of Upamecano, Kim Min-jae and Eric Dyer, who made up the centre of that back three, and as we know, he had a poor game, as Zach mentioned earlier. Mazraoui and Bowie making up the two wing-back positions and the two pivots of Goretzka and Pavlovic, with a front three of Musiala, Kane and Sané. Tuchel used this system to effectively cancel out Bayer Leverkusen, especially their front three, which, as we know, and Zach mentioned earlier, it was very dangerous and caused a lot of issues for Bayern Munich throughout the match. And it was down to Tuchel's men being fast asleep for Leverkusen's first goal, as we saw a quick throw-in from Wirtz into Andrich, who whipped a low-driven ball into Stanisic, and Stanisic smashed the ball home against his parent club, and funny enough, he actually is on loan at Bayer Leverkusen from Bayern Munich. But it was a fantastic goal, but Bayern Munich needs to be ashamed of themselves for this goal because Bo was caught fast asleep, and it's actually, this goal was coming from a while ago because Bayer Leverkusen were just going chance after chance, and the throw-in that actually led to the goal came from a chance that Bayer Leverkusen should have scored. It was actually a shot and it was saved by Neuer and went out for a throw. And Bayer Leverkusen were quick on their toes, and that was just present throughout the entire match.
After 30 minutes on the clock, Bayern Munich had 58% possession, but they only had an XG of 0.07, and this only changed to 0.14 by half-time. This shows you that despite dominating the ball, they were able to create really clear-cut chances.
And the reason Bayern Munich had such awful stats was because they struggled to get it to their key players, the likes of Kane, the likes of Sané and the likes of Musiala, and they could not get it to them whatsoever, which obviously left them with an awful XG, and Bayer Leverkusen were happy for Bayern Munich to have the ball in their own half and play it around and just keep their main players out of the game. And to prove this, Kane only had one shot over the entire 90 and actually had only 19 touches and 2 touches in the opposition's box. So it goes to show that he was completely out of the game and was non-existent throughout the match.
As Harvey mentioned, Bayern Munich struggled to play out, and this was also due to Leverkusen's compactness. They would keep nice and tight and keep compact within the midfield to stop balls from being played through the lines. They block off passing lanes, keep tight and compact, and stop the supply line through to Leroy Sané, Musiala and Harry Kane. Yes, they may receive the ball out wide, but then Leverkusen were quick to close down the space and close down the Bayern Munich forward. This was also clear to see in their average positions, and this was also present at the end of the match in this screenshot.
Compactness is present throughout the entire match from Leverkusen, as Zach showed, and XABI Alonso's side are very stubborn and they stick to the game plan, and as we can see, the game plan is working this season. In this shape, Leverkusen would also have trigger points, and those trigger points would be the two Bayern pivots of Pavlovic and Goretzka, and as soon as they would receive the ball into the middle here, Bayer Leverkusen would swarm them with the press, and it'd make it extremely difficult for them to get out. And countless times they'd win the ball back from Bayern Munich and go on the attack, and this would just be present throughout the entire match, and it added to the dominance of XABI Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. And as Zach previously mentioned, Leverkusen were happy for Bayern to just play it around the back and play it out wide because there was no threats there at all. And this is actually proved by Eric Dyer having 115 touches, the most touches for Bayern Munich throughout the entire 90, with Kim Min-jae shortly behind him at 85. And actually, Upamecano and Mazzarri, both defenders, were shortly behind them. Bayern just struggled to deal with the intensity and the speed of Alonso's Leverkusen, as I mentioned, with the two pivots receiving the ball. That trigger press was activated, and also on the counter-attack, Leverkusen kept getting in behind, and if it wasn't for Neuer, I don't even know what happened to Bayern Munich, because they could have been 4 or 5 minutes down on the amount of chances that Leverkusen opened Bayern Munich up with on the counter-attack.
Bayer Leverkusen's dynamic attacking play was evident in their second goal. Grimaldo picked up the ball in this region, did a beautiful little 1-2 with Nathan Tella. What a ball from Tella it was. He got into this position here. The Bayern Munich defence was drawn out by that quick, intricate attacking play, and Grimaldo hit it beautifully into the roof of the net past Manuel Neuer.
And Grimaldo actually isn't your typical wing-back, because he often operates in a central position here and always operates in the final third. He's sort of like a winger, an effective winger, and he actually has been one of the top fullbacks in Europe this season, and he showed that against Bayern Munich on Saturday. And to showcase how crucial Grimaldo is to Bayer Leverkusen, 50% of their attacks throughout the entire 90 were actually down the left-hand side, once again showing how influential Grimaldo is to Xabi Alonso's system.
The third and final goal for Bayer Leverkusen was nothing short of pure brilliance from Frimpong. Bayern Munich had a corner, the ball got swung into the box, headed clear, Frimpong picked him up, Leroy Sané is chasing him, Bayern Munich are backpedaling, Neuer was up in the box trying to score from the corner, and Frimpong ran right down the right flank. They're all chasing him back, and he struck a beautiful strike from 37 metres into the back of the net. And that would just really summed up the whole match and the entire performance from Leverkusen. Bayern Munich were caught out, Leverkusen quick on the counter-attack, and what a finish it was despite there being no keeper between the sticks. Thomas Tuchel has many questions to answer after that managerial display, from who he picked in his lineup, because there was a lot of questionable decisions there, and the tactics that he implemented on Saturday evening, because Leverkusen absolutely tore them to shreds. Yes, they were missing Gnabry, but bar that, they were really, really poor. To emphasise my point, Bayer Leverkusen had 39% of the ball, yet they had 14 shots compared to Bayern Munich's 9, 8 on target compared to Bayern Munich's 1, and they had 1.36 XG compared to Bayern Munich's 0.57. And when they're not dominating the ball, but creating that many chances and creating that many shots, it really does show you where the problems lie for Thomas Tuchel's side. So that was how Xabi Alonso managed to outwit Thomas Tuchel in what was an enthralling match from a tactical standpoint. Comment down below whether you think Bayer Leverkusen could win the Bundesliga this season. Do they have the ability and the consistency to pit Bayern Munich to the title? Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.